Task 3.4 requires us to write our solution using a programming language such as Visual Basic. So it's the same code, basically, that the same algorithm that we did in task 3.3. The only difference is this time we are going to be using a programming language such as Visual Basic to write our solution. So let's take a look at the solution. Alright, this solution works the same way as the solution that we had in pseudocode. Everything is identical, even the variable names. I've used the same variable names. So what are the differences? There are only minor differences. For example, instead of declaring array to have a lower bound, instead of declaring the array to have an upper bound of 10, this time we have an upper bound of 9. So when this array is basically created, the upper bound is going to be 9, and by default in Visual Basic the lower bound is 0. So technically now we still have 10 boxes in the array, or 10 elements in the array, because the starting element by default, the starting box number is by default 0. That's why the upper bound has been set to 9. Okay, now what are the other differences in this code? For example, here the function that we have used is len. Instead of writing length, which we used to write in pseudocode, this was our solution in pseudocode, right? Instead of the length function, we are only using len, right? So this is how the length function is called in Visual Basic. The ASCII function also is spelled as ASC in Visual Basic, but in pseudocode we had the same function, named as ASCII. These are the only minor differences. The code works the same way. Go through the code in task 3.3 and then take a look at this code, and it will make complete sense to you. So to understand the working of this code, take a look at task 3.3, and this solution is the same as task 3.3. The only difference is it has been written in Visual Basic.